All right, folks. Well, you wanted to get rid of us, I'm sure, but couldn't just do that. Billy Adams alongside Mike Zanetti. We are in game number 3 of today's jam-packed schedule. We got varsity basketball from here on out all the way until about probably 10 p.m., depending on when that last game ends. But
it's a long day.
Nonetheless, I mean, if you're a basketball fan, this is like a dream come true for you. We have high school basketball all day long with a lot of kids who are either looking at college, or have already committed to college, or just love the game, you know, depending on who you are. And we love the game, and we've loved the action we've had so far. The last game, Mike, we thought we were going to have a jam-packed back-and-forth affair, but, man, that Florida Rain team, dude, they were just on it.
Like you said, I mean, we think they've been playing together for a while. I mean, if you were to tell me that team's 3 years they've been playing, I'd be surprised. It looked like they were been together for a while, but they were killing it. And as of now, you got the SCE Skill Center team versus the Stingray. So two good teams. You just hit a 3 and looking for another fun matchup.
And again, this is the HoopSeen Florida Jam out here in the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus, folks, of Pasco County, Wesley Chapel, Florida in particular. And we just nearly had a highlight reel there from Vernon Lee, but want to mention who is on the floor currently. You saw that rebound coming from Judah Lopez. He's on the floor alongside Ethan Bates, Brayton Barnaby, Isaac Leone, and Angelo Massey. As that shot's coming on the other end, and it looks like it came from Jamaris Conyers. So Conyers from that Skill Center squad. He is joined by Davian Kindred, Vernon Lee, Devontae Spears, and Jaden Dryden of that Skill Center squad. So right now it's a 6-2 affair, folks, as we already have some back and forth coming on the other end. Up top, it's Judah Lopez working for the Stingray squad. He's going to have some help from Barnaby. Barnaby driving, the left-hander just too strong. It's back the other way.
Good shot.
Here we go, an open jumper. Again, quick transition baskets seem to be the mantra when it comes to the beginning of these contests. We saw the Florida Rain team really hone in on the fast break transition offense. They did it practically the entire game. However, that Tampa 21 squad did it for about the first 8 minutes or so, and then unfortunately just got slowed down by what was a wall of Florida Rain athletes. So now the question becomes, will this carry over into game number 3, and will each team be able to respond to that set offense? Right now, though, the Stingray squad trying to run some sets, but just unsuccessful thus far. Up top we go. Kicking out and driving. That shot off the mark. That was Davian Kindred from Vernon Lee. Gets his own miss. Lee, the long bomb from what seemed to be the right-hand corner. Again, an offensive rebound. Somebody's got to make it.
Finally, the lid's off.
Jamaris Conyers able to get on the board. That's his second basket. He cuts the lead to within 1. Here's a little bit of a half-court press coming from Devontae Spears.
4 offensive rebounds.
I mean, they say third time's a charm. In that case, it was the 4th time. Here's a man-to-man coming from this Tampa Skill Center squad. The Stingrays working up top. That was some nice defense. It's Jamaris Conyers doing it on both ends. Lopez, he needs some help. He's got it. A nice closeout. Open at the top is Massey. You can't leave him open, apparently, folks.
So they've been leaving him open for 3. I just want to break down that defense, but they're playing really tight man-to-man coverage, and then they're playing help defense. So they got passes inside. There's another missed 3, but the help inside is what's creating those open baskets, and 3 threes on the board for the Stingrays.
And it's crucial for times like that, folks, because, I mean, you look at a guy like Ethan Bates, you look at Judah Lopez, 2 big men who are key in this kind of set. You work inside with them a little bit more, and you can take advantage of that help defense with a guy on the other end like Angelo Massey. If he can shoot 3s, he's going to find himself open, and already he's got a couple baskets in this game. The Skill Center needing a shot themselves, and Mike, they've had the opportunity. We've seen a couple open shots. They're just not capitalizing.
They've probably taken double the shots at the Stingrays, and unfortunately, the offensive rebounds, they just haven't been able to get those points.
It's quality as of now over quantity. We have yet to see if that'll change. But right now, we can credit the Skill Center, though. A lot of hardcore presence coming on this defensive side. They are not giving any space when they can let it happen. As we see that ill-advised shot coming on the other end. It was missed by Bates in the rebound on the other end. Here come the Skill Center. Working on the inside, it's Jaden Dryden. Dryden goes up just too strong and once again cannot execute. Here's Lopez. We've seen the big man work up top. He's taking it end to end, not needing any help. And they're going to slow it down just a little bit here with Ethan Bates. Bates driving over 2 defenders and a big man finish for the tall building and Ethan Bates. So the skill center going to slow it down. They've been pretty quick to get back on the other end. They're going to take their time, and we see a little bit of pressure coming from Angelo Massey.
I think it's funny to mention the fact that we've seen a lot of fast-paced basketball so far.
An open shot. Could this be it? And it is. Number 3 with the 3 in Vernon Lee.
And I'd actually rather that possession right there. Slow things down and find the open shot in the corner. Just, you don't have to run every single possession, and we saw that in the first game, but I'd rather have a little bit more teamwork.
No, and you're going to have plenty of running to do,
Wow.
but, not running much is the man in Angelo Massey. That's the second time we've seen him get open at the top. This time it was from the corner. Got a little bit of range.
Stingray's answer with a 3, but, I mean, what a move.
What a beautiful drive and a spin from Devontae Spears. Oh, my goodness, we've seen dunks. And how about that acrobatic finish? Gosh, he was like a washing machine with that spin cycle. Come on. Lopez with a 2-step.
I almost don't even want to speak how quick they're going.
I mean, they are not. We said they needed to do some sets. They're wasting no time. Here we go. Back-to-back baskets, Mike. It was a 6-0 run on one end. It's a 5-0 run now with a response.
I will say at times there are appropriate times to run, and on those fast breaks is where you're going to find your most points. But if it's not there, slow it down, and as a former coach, you got to find the right shots, and that wasn't it there.
I mean, we are just speeding things up. Here come the skill center. Going up and unable to finish was Davian Kindred. And they're going to call a charge? Wow. A charge on Davian Kindred. He's kind of laughing about it. I don't know that he liked that call. That looked like a common shooting foul if I had to say so. But, hey, we're not reffing. We're just here. Nonetheless, that is the first team foul, though, and all the speed we've had. I mean, the pace of play has been consistent. That long 3.
Those shots are going to kill the skill center team. I mean, you can't leave this team open. They've made almost every single 3, and they've made you pay every single time.
The Stingrays are taking advantage, getting in the paint and finding an open outlet. That time it was Braden Barnaby. They're back on the other end, though, already. It's Bates working. Lopez can't get a handle. 2 skill center players trying to get it, and with 8:27, it will stay with the Stingrays. And after all that, sometimes I need time to breathe when it comes to so much talking. I mean, they finally get some time to breathe. I mean, this is a replication, basically, of what game number 1 was. I mean, game number 2, I mean, it was fast break. It was 3 after 3. Acrobatic finishes that we just do not see in everyday high school basketball. I mean, we're getting everything here.
It's been mainly the 3s. I mean, I think, 15 of their 17 points might be 3s, or is it 14? Regardless,
it's close.
They have a lot of 3s, and it's definitely 4 or 5 of them, and that's the thing. If you're going to play help defense, you can't just close them out. You have to realize that, and this is what you need to adjust in your timeout. You have to understand that if you're going to play man-to-man, you have to not help, and you have to be okay with winning those one-on-ones with 44 in the paint in Lopez. So just figuring it out for the Stingrays. You got to go to your big man.
They're trying to find Judah Lopez in the paint, but instead it's the second big man coming on the outside. And again, you mentioned the mismatch, but nonetheless, the skill center. A little bit of a rip out there coming from the newly checked in Andreas Jackson. So Jackson checks in, makes his mark early. Jackson nearly got it back with the help of Conyers, and that should go back to the Stingray squad.
Interesting. So it's a quick, fast-paced possession, and to be down 5 and to have that, I think it was a little bit of a force. It was an open lane, but Lopez is a big unit in the paint. You don't want to try and go up against that defense, but it's not the worst shot in the world, but I feel like if the skills, because we've seen Skill Scanner before, and they're a great fast-paced team, fast break, push the ball, defense, but if you slower things down, get some pick and rolls, get some passing and cuts, I think they'll be a lot closer in this game.
Another couple check-ins as well, substitution-wise, as we drive. And about the easiest basket you will see of the day coming from Brayton Barnaby. A nice left-handed finish. So on one end for the skill center, a couple substitutions. We got Mosen Hemmings, number 11, checking in. And we mentioned number 15 and Andreas Jackson checking in. And number 15 on the other end, and Hayden Fuller checking in for the Stingrays.
And that's what they needed.
And that was a much-needed basket coming for the skill center. Again, not surprised here, just a 7-point advantage, but every time we watched the skill center play last time, whether it was 12 points, 10 points, they found a way to creep in every single time, and I would not expect anything different. Here's Fuller, though. The outlets you can see are starting to bleed a little bit, and it wasn't a three, Mike, but they still took advantage, and that was Angelo Massey.
This time they were ready. They closed out the three well, but just took a little dribble inside, and they get it.
And that's like a pro's move. You read the closeout to drive and kick in some penetration-style offense. As you see here, once again, he's not shooting the ball, but he's making it work. We see Fuller in the corner working. This mid-range shot a bit too strong there coming from Leon.
I don't know about that.
They got to remember there's no shot clock in this game, man. Oh, and Leon takes it away. Can he get it back? Doesn't.
Very
fighting for it and getting the foul in the finish. Oh my goodness. Jamaris Conyers. What a shot. They're going to call it on Leon.
Okay. This is the comeback you needed, right?
This is the comeback you needed.
6-point game. You get in the end one.
And actually, they're going to call it on the floor. I was looking. I was like, are they going to do a throw-in?
Wow. I'm surprised by that.
Any shot you see in that instance, that looked good. But nonetheless, it's a throw-in. I was about to say ball doesn't lie because that one looked good, but it's off the mark.
They said hold. I really thought it was shooting, too.
I thought it was
on
shooting.
The floor. Okay.
Especially with the cadence it was called in. It looked like a shooting foul. Nonetheless, Stingray's back the other way. A nice defensive stop. Here comes some transition going. And somehow ending up with the ball was Lee. The Stingrays fighting for it once again. Here comes that fast-paced transition, folks. Somebody's got to hold on to the ball.
I mean, that's what it's been the past few possessions, though. A lot of ripping and just grabbing at the ball. And you've seen it from both teams where it's been a lot of hardcore defense, and that's what you want to see from both teams. But, I mean, you got to try, and this is where I say slow things down because you don't want to get too sloppy with the basketball.
No, not at all, and it's so early in the day, too. You have a lot more to play for than just this game as well. So you got to be careful on, like, how much energy you're expending and how much you're using in terms of game number one. But right now, both of these teams playing as if everything's on the line. 15-21 is the advantage. But from the cadence, it's anyone's ball game. Closing the lead and closing the gap on the basket was Vernon Lee. My goodness, he had all kinds of time in the world for that one. 4-point advantage now. The skill center slowly finding their groove and their rhythm. You can see, I mean, they were just, it's hands in the face everywhere the Stingrays go.
This defense has definitely picked it up, and they have found their groove. They are very physical, very fast-paced. They're not letting you breathe.
Here's Lopez up top. He's working with Leon. Leon's been the man with the ball a little more recently now as he's guarded by 3 defenders and cannot finish. The skill center with a chance to capitalize. Going up and going in with the shifty move is Spears.
I was going to say timeout, Sting.
You're going to need it.
I mean, they definitely needed a timeout after that, and I would say they got to go back to what's been working, the three-pointers.
The three-pointers, man.
When you drive inside and you have multiple defenders collapse, and that's what the Skill Center Elite squad's been able to do really well, but those kicks are not there anymore, so you got to try and draw something up. That's what that timeout will do for you with a 2-point lead.
And that's the impressive thing, too. You kind of find out what a well-coached team looks like. Really not even in terms of how they start, but I always love to see what is the response to certain sets. You know, we've seen Skill Center. They were kind of a subject to leaving some wide open threes. We saw Angelo Massey taking advantage of that. 2 threes early, a couple mid-rangers from the drives, but now the Skill Center, because they're so well coached, have been able to close in the gaps, and they haven't been doing as much help because the help defense, as much as it ironically is help, was not helping their case. So instead, playing the normal man-to-man, and it seems to be working right now because we've seen 5 consecutive steals coming from their defense, and it's all of a sudden a 2-point game.
That's the thing. They'll live with, hey, we'll let them shoot that 3, but in the beginning of the game, they've been able to capitalize.
And you see here, another good closeout results in a defensive stop. That was Isaac Leon. You can't make them all. It wasn't a bad shot from Leon, but a nice closeout from the skill center. As that drive, it's a foul on the floor, and it should be a throw-in. Vernon Lee drawing the foul, and it was picked up by Judah Lopez. Second team foul. The first one was on Isaac Leon, And the second coming now for Judah Lopez in this first half for the Stingrays. 4.5 minutes remain, folks. Game flying by, but this has been a doozy. It is anyone's ball game, as you see finally a little bit of momentum shift, slowing it down, working within their means. An open J, maybe, and that one can't roll in. That was Mosin Hemmings with his first shot. Here come the Stingrays. Not a full court press, but we do see the skill center slowly pressing up the floor as these possessions go on. Something to take note of as we keep continuing this matchup.
I feel like they're forcing it inside as there's an errant pass, but they're just attacking the rim. I like the idea, but it's not there. You got to try and do something else. The pick and rolls are opening the floor, but honestly, move the ball around. Try and do something different. Maybe a backdoor cut. You got to try and catch the skill centers off guard, and I think they are ready for anything the Stingrays are doing right now.
No, and the thing that I can tell kind of what the Stingrays are looking for, a lot of NBA and college sets, they love the pick and pop with their big mans. The big man pops out, flashes out real quick, and drives to the basket. And that comes when a team is trying to cherry pick. And in this case, the skill center have been laying off just a little, but a nice steal and a nice finish from Leon. That was much needed, surprisingly, by the Stingrays.
Momentum switch right there. Get yourself right back in at 4-point game.
Despite being in the lead, they felt so cold for so long.
Definitely a scoring drought these past few minutes, and that was much needed.
It was an 8-point ball game a few moments ago, but the skill center closing in. There's a rebound, and finally getting it was Hemmings. He puts it up, and he finishes. Mosin Hemmings gets the miss and the putback for his first basket. Under 3 minutes remain, folks. 2 points is the margin. Here's Bates, over 3 defenders. I thought he finished that for a second. Lopez can't get a handle. And it's back the other way. That was Jackson with the board. Here's Hemmings again. That long three. And that is pure from Devontae Spears. We've seen him do that a couple times. And that shot is just beauty.
Got to be careful with this skill center. I mean, they can do a lot of things well, whether it's their defense, in the paint, shooting, and right there.
And that man can do a lot. Isaac Leon has started to heat up in this half. I was going to say, Mike, that was the first lead we got to see from the skill center, but it was taken away no later than 5 seconds. Oh, here we go, the Stingrays. A lead as large as 8. It's currently 2, trying to extend with 2 minutes remaining here in half number 1. Lopez.
Drive.
He's got some help from Leon. Driving. Might have had some contact. I think I saw a wrist.
Might have been ball.
Might have been ball. Once again, working on the inside. That's one was a foul.
Other one could have been questionable, but I like them letting them play a little bit. They had it. This is the thing. I mean, the Stingrays have had some open looks in the paint, but the physical defense and the hands up, the smother. I mean, that's what's making it hard. And the fouls are definitely going to grant them easy buckets, as the first free throw is good. But if you want to win this game, you got to keep your pedal on offense and try and break this defense. And they are very good defensively.
Got to note something that's kind of interesting here, too. We've only had 4 total fouls in this half, and you would think with such a physical game that this has been, there'd be more. But these kids are playing within themselves and also pushing the pace at the same time. It shows you the development they've had over the years and also the maturity they have as we see Mosin Hemmings getting back on the board, back to a 1-point game, folks. And finally, we're going to see the Stingrays slow it down just a little bit. They'll bring it up the floor here with Judah Lopez, and it looks like Bates up top. It'll be Hemmings working. Hayden Fuller up top, he's working with Brayton Barnaby. Barnaby's got a basket. Lopez worked a lot early. They have not gone to him as much, trying to draw the foul, and he successfully does.
I will say, looking at this game from the outside, it seems like Skill Center has been the better team, and they're down 1. And that's the key. When you have a great defense, when you have a good offense that just drives to the rim, gets some layups, they can shoot the 3 really well. They've been doing both things really well, offense to defense, defense to offense, and that's where, if you're the Stingrays, you got to see how you can adjust later in this game, and that'll be what you do to kind of screw up the offense for the Skill Center, and that'll be half-court presses and all that moving forward.
Well, we saw that it was the quantity and quality matchup, and the quantity was coming from the skill center of shots, but they just were not executing, as we see a newly checked-in player in Mekhi White going up, but putting it back was Jaden Dryden. The quality, though, of their shots have began to pick up, and now we have a tie ball game, folks, once again to the skill center. Staying within this ball game, they were down by 8, looked to be a bit out of touch, and now they are in rhythm. And again, the Stingrays are not able to respond. However, Judah Lopez was in the right spot. That was a much-needed basket with 30 seconds remaining. Again, we are in half number 1 of game number 3. The skill center, though, can hold the ball. No shot clock here with 20 seconds, and I think that's what they're going to do. Again, this is about the 4th time we've seen a team slow down. So a rare opportunity to run a set, run a play, maybe set some screens. But I think Devontae Spears might want this himself. Spears guarded up top by Barnaby. Spears steps back, an offset jumper. And that, my friends, is going to do it with half number 1. Not the wrong shot. It was just even better defense by Brayton Barnaby. So with that being said, it was a controlled effort by the Stingrays until the skill center found rhythm, got some momentum their way, started making more quality shots, and all of a sudden, Mike, 30-28, we don't know who's going to win this.
I think it's a matter of battling in the second half, right? Both these teams had a great first half. Skill center got a little slow off the start, those missed shots, and the Stingrays just able to take away with their three-point shooting, and if they can continue that effort into the second half, that's what's going to be the key in terms of keeping the pressure on skill center in terms of that defense. I think they should make a couple adjustments in terms of slowing down their offense at the stop, because skill center loves to push it. They love to run, and if you could try and stop the ball at half court before they get across, I think that'll be a stop. Stingrays got to play some defense, but their offense, they've been destroying.
So the question becomes, folks, on the Stingray side, can they continue pressuring into the basket and finding outlets, or does the skill center squad continue to adapt, finding their presence and also pushing the transition to make more baskets? They ended that half, folks, with a 16-8 run. And again, not a crazy margin, but it's worth noting because they were down by 8 at one point in this ballgame. So a huge closing gap for that skill center squad. Again, the margin is 2, and we have 3.5 minutes until we are set to take place for action with half number 2. Again, Billy Adams alongside Mike Zanetti here at the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus, and we are back right here on the Florida Athletics Network right after this. salutations and warm fuzzy feelings out here in the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus. Billy Adams alongside my co-host and analyst Mike Zanetti for Game 3 of what is set to be an infinite amount of games. Plenty of basketball, plenty of shots to be had. And already we've had some pretty solid matchups thus far, but Mike, no doubt in my mind, this has been the best matchup thus far.
I love that first star for the Stingrays as well, and getting a good first basket in terms of a kind of a little bit of a scoring drought for this team later in that first half, the second half of the first half, if you would.
Yeah, we mention a lot on these broadcasts too, and we did it in the first tournament, we're doing it this one. It's amazing, folks, not even the changes that happen within a half, it's within the borders of the half. So the first half of certain halves or the second half of specific halves, it's insane how much has changed. We saw in game number 2, the Florida Rain taking on a Tampa 21 squad. They were tied in the first half, but it was a 78-29 advantage for the Florida Rain by the end. It's crazy how momentum shifts in this game. And again, the Stingrays were up by as much as 8, had control, but now things have begun to slow down. The skill center finding tempo, finding rhythm, and they've got themselves within 2, have even led at one point. And right now, we might have a foul on the floor.
That's what they have to do, though. They need to take their time, the Stingrays. And like you said, the halftime adjustments. Remember, these teams don't even get any more than 5 minutes at a half, which is crazy.
That's like time to take a sip of water.
Exactly. So to get a foul called here, that's going to be the key. Getting inside, setting up your team, finding open looks, and being okay with good shots, even if you miss them. So having a better percentage shots, quality over quantity, whatever you want to call it. I mean, the Stingrays have every right to be in this game. It's just all about strategy now, because you know that this skill center squad is very talented.
Well, we mentioned too, not a lot of fouls in the first half, 5 total fouls between both teams combined. So I'm curious if we begin to slow things down, as we've seen, just working in the paint and working within the realm of half court, does that translate to more contact? We have yet to see that so far. Going to be something to keep an eye on. But again, right now, that transition is yet to be seen here in the second half. We see some major contact coming. I think Massey took a shot to the face, maybe, as that floater's off the mark. Getting the offensive board is Jackson. He'll kick it out, and here's a chance now for the skill center to reset. Haven't seen a lot of second chance coming. And nearly getting that in. Jackson almost had it. Another offensive rebound. Kicking it out. Vernon Lee for 3. Off the mark. Mekhi White, though, finally finishes. And it's Mekhi White who played 2 minutes in the first half.
That's going to be a problem if the Stingrays can't get a rebound. And if you have 3-4 consecutive just like that, we saw it in the first half. But you got to box out. You got to get a rebound. And when you have Lopez as your only kind of big guy in the paint, it's very hard with 3 guys around him.
It's rare you see 2 possessions lead to 4 offensive rebounds and a score. We've seen that twice in this game, folks. It is filled with athleticism and poise and made shots. And for the second time in this game, folks, the skill center of Tampa has taken the lead, now by 2, thanks to Vernon Lee.
We saw this in game 2. It could get out of hand quickly, so you have to be careful with what's going on here. A 2-point lead for skill center. Another 3 could put them up 5. So we'll just see swings in basketball. We'll see runs on each side, but this is crucial.
Oh, and Mike, the same situation we saw, the closeouts leading to open baskets, that was due to Lopez taking advantage. That is what the Stingrays need to execute on the offensive side, and the skill center, I believe, will go to the line, this time with Jaden Dryden.
But that's the thing, they have to be able to match that offense. Judah Lopez, a huge layup basket, and that's what you need to do. If you have one of those scoring droughts that you did at the end of the first half, that's what's going to cost you this game. So we saw it with Tampa Bay last game. They kind of had that drought in the end of the first half. It kind of stalled them into that second half, and we saw Florida Rain go on an absolute rampage. And this is the same kind of skill center squad that we know can get hot if they get going. We saw a slam and a fast break transition. We see how quick and defensive and physical they can be, so a lot to work for, but 2 teams that are very evenly matched. And if you can play your hand right, the Stingrays can be in this game, and they are.
And that's the dangerous thing about certain basketball teams. When you have such poise with a little bit of skill and speed, and you can do that in an efficient manner, you're one of the more dangerous teams on the court every single time. I think Mekhi White got a piece of that shot from Angelo Massey. Now they have control. It's a rare sight. They have control and possession as that three, I thought it was on the mark. It is not. Another offensive board. A steal maybe. Mekhi White gets it back. How about another? Oh, and I thought Vernon Lee could have taken that. Interesting choice. Lee kicks it out. Cooper can't get the shot. Another offensive board. Here's another shot. And here's another offensive second chance opportunity for Vernon Lee.
And a very well-respected timeout. If it's just going to be shooting practice out there, I mean, what are you going to do? Vernon Lee's just absolutely laying it down. And same spot, different result. He missed it. But, I mean, you can't just let him get every offensive rebound. I mean, that's just insane. So I think what you got to do is you got to reset your defense. Look like a little bit of a zone read. So I'm sure still trying to figure it out. But the biggest thing that you're looking at is there's one guy in the paint for the Stingrays, and there's about 3 or 4 other guys for Skill Center crashing the boards, and that's where you're getting all those rebounds. And that's going to be a problem now, up 5, or down 5 if you're the Stingrays.
Well, the interesting thing to note here, too, is I feel like last tournament, the one thing we noticed was there were a lot of mismatches when it came to height and even like size differential. But these two teams, they're evenly matched. There's not a lot of differential here. I could almost pinpoint every single matchup that's even, and most of them line up. The biggest guy might be Judah Lopez, might be. But the Skill Center squad, I mean, there's a lot of credit to Jaden Dryden, Devontae Spears. We've seen Mekhi White come out, and I mean, in this half alone, they have 7 offensive rebounds that have both led to second chance opportunities. Ironically, 6 points has been that second chance, and now they have a 5-point advantage. So the Skill Center not even taking advantage of height. It's the right place at the right time and also making the right plays. And now with 12 minutes remaining, it's the largest lead of the Skill Center's day.
And Ethan Bates just checked in for the Stingrays, and there's another turnover.
Here's another turnover. In control comes the Skill Center, and once again it's Vernon Lee taking over and stealing the show for Skill Center. What will the Stingrays do? This is uncharted territory. They are down by 7.
3-2 zone
largest deficit
from the Skill Center. They are figuring out that three-point shot. They got 3 guys on the outside. They're saying, we're not going to let you shoot.
They are covering the rotations well. You see up top, it's Andreas Jackson alongside Jaden Dryden. They are leading the charge with Mekhi White, who has been a huge stepping stone here in the second half. The Stingrays trying to move around. Maybe needed one more pass there. You got to shoot the ball, and Judah Lopez does just that. He has been efficient and effective in the paint.
That's how you break the 3-2. We've seen them go more inside since Skill Center switched to a 3-2, and when they're playing the 3-2, they're playing the 3 ball. So go inside to Judah Lopez, go inside to Ethan Bates. Those are your taller guys that are going to get the boards.
And that's the interesting change now. We saw them take advantage of the outside open looks. Those are being covered. So now this could be the opportunity for Lopez or even Ethan Bates to start opening up and finding a rhythm in the basket, especially with less pressure being there. A 5-point advantage, 10.5 minutes remain. The Skill Center, though, have made 5 of their last 6 shots, and all thanks to Vernon Lee, who nearly made 6 of the last 7.
Good defense.
Here come the Stingrays. That might have been a key stop here, depending on the outcome. Bates for 3. Oh. And Bates. Where did the range come from? We did not see that in half number 1 from Ethan Bates.
Bing, bada boom, we got a 2-point game.
We said it, folks. It could be anyone's ball game in this contest because these teams are so quick, athletic, and versatile. They want it all. And how about the move coast to coast there for Mekhi White? And I think we got a timeout on the floor coming from the Skill Center. So a basket and a break coming, but not before, Mike. An impressive little feat there from Mekhi White. We did not see that from him at all in the first half. He only played 2 minutes, but now a couple offensive rebounds, a couple key baskets, and still the longest lead now for the Skill Center.
Attacking, good things happen. You're up 4. I mean, it's a good drive, good defense. Lopez was there, but just a better finish. And I love the reaction from the Skill Center bench and just how excited they get for every three. I just see them up. My only concern is they might go on the floor and it cost a penalty potentially. But I mean, that's the energy you want in the corner of your team. Whether you're on the floor or off the floor, everyone seems to be in rhythm. Everyone seems to be supporting each other, and that's the type of team that puts its best foot forward.
And again, this is where the mindset of basketball comes into play. As a Stingray squad, you know, you've led the entirety of this game, and you've watched it crumble before your eyes.
Still
and
10
now,
minutes left.
There's still 10 minutes left. Now, what do you do? How do you respond? That is kind of the lesson you learn playing high school basketball like this, because runs are interchangeable. They happen so fast before your eyes. You just don't know what's happening.
Look at this, full court press.
So now we have a full court press. We saw a little bit of this in the first half.
And now a trap.
And the skill center laid off of it, but they are coming in full force.
Very similar to the Florida Rain trap where we saw, now they got to cross half court, they're going to trap. Florida Rain was trapping at half court, so before they crossed the line, looking for something, but I mean, this is going to be a problem if they can't get past this defense. They got to be able to score, and down 4 could be a problem.
All it takes is a couple stops and a couple makes for you to get right back into this ball game.
Or for the lead to switch.
We've seen the skill center do it. What will they do? They're really trying to look for that outside in Angelo Massey, and it is just not there. However, there's the shot with Bates. They have been working with him. That one just off the mark, but I like the look. I like the look. Here come the skill center. We've seen the Stingrays kind of lay off pressure just a little bit, but now starting to pick it back up, moving outside just a little bit. They know the pressure needs to be on to stop and force some ill-advised shots. Here's an open look from the corner, and they are going to count that basket, maybe. They count the basket. We're getting the call from the ref as it happens, folks. Very interesting stuff. That shot was made by Davian Kindred.
So the clock was wrong.
So counting the basket, they just did not start the clock, and they said a 15-second runoff. I was going to say, I didn't see any contact there. I didn't know if it warranted
I heard a whistle before the shot, so I heard a whistle too. Let it go.
The only confusing thing about being on courts like this is whistles are coming from everywhere, so you almost think, but that one sounded distinctly like it was on our court. So nonetheless, the shot is made. It's the largest lead until that shot by Mr. Judah Lopez. It was the largest lead for the skill center for about 2 seconds. Spears picks up that foul, his second, team third. And Mike, that was a much needed basket, I think, to stop any kind of rhythm the skill center had.
I was going to say before last possession, it looks like if skill center is going to keep their press going, it's going to tire out the Stingrays offense. So to kind of match that, if you can, I don't know how well conditioned you are, but you should try and match their energy with the full court press and try and slow them down if you can.
That's a tough miss there from Lopez, but nonetheless, he did get the basket on that and one opportunity. It's a 5-point possession. And again, the skill center, we haven't seen the fast-paced offense yet here in the second half. They are taking their time, and you can see they're trying to find some rhythm here in the paint, maybe looking to get some outlets. They're working up top here. As we saw Devontae Spears getting hot early in the second half, haven't used him as much, giving him a little bit of a break, and now it's Jamaris Conyers. Kindred, he'll put up the mid-range, and that's a Michael Jordan-esque mid-range shot if I've ever seen one from Mr. Davion Kindred.
Hand in his face, doesn't matter, drills the shot.
Does not matter. How about the contested layup from Brayton Barnaby?
Well, he got a hand on him as well.
I think he had some contact. Boy, doing it with the left hand with a man in your face, that is pure talent.
5-point game, 8:30 left.
Time is winding down. 5 points is the margin. Trying to get the pass off. Big steal coming the other way. Here comes Leon going up, going in, too strong, and that looked good. It's not. Here's a lay-in, what could have been a jam from Conyers. Maybe a smart play on his end.
He was picking some cherries back there.
Just a little bit. It's like NBA 2K all over again when you cherry pick against your opponent. A 51-44 advantage. The largest lead of the day so far has been 7 multiple times. And taking some contact in the paint was Hayden Fuller.
That's dangerous. Especially now on the floor. Got to be careful. But he's got to wipe that up.
And that foul came on Devontae Spears. So that's a team 4th of the half with 7:55 remaining in this contest. More contact being made.
okay, they're going to call it offensive.
To be honest with you, I think Lopez kind of returned the favor for that last hit. I think he was looking for a little bit of contact.
He definitely led with an elbow, so I can agree with the offensive, but at the same time, it was a little bit of a flop.
It was a little bit of a flop, definitely.
I don't know.
Wouldn't be basketball without it at this point,
true.
right?
I mean, it was a lot of contact, so I'm not going to say it wasn't. But from my angle, it looked like one hand on him. He went down a little too easy, but...
I was about to say, looking at the way Devontae Spears has played, he can definitely absorb a lot more contact than that. But a nice sell, you know? Partial playing, partial acting. A little bit of shooting from Spears. It's off the mark. Bates with the board. Here they come, though. Fuller's got some space. Some space, can't get it in, does reel it in. Might have had contact, no call, and the skill center finally resetting after a little tumultuous ending of a back-and-forth affair. Little screen action coming from Kindred. They'll work up top here with Jamarius Conyers. Again, slowing it down. It's an ISO coming past Lopez. An open lane coming for Conyers. Boy, nobody there to meet him in the making.
Still 7 minutes, so it may be a 9-point game, but you got time. This press has been a problem for the Stingrays to get it past.
You can see the pressure is on, going back the other way, and what an emphatic slam coming from Vernon Lee. Oh my goodness. Flying and soaring was Lee. That shot going up, that is a much needed basket coming from Ethan Bates.
Shooter.
Shooters will shoot going up.
Good block.
And a good disruption there, that was Lopez. Fuller, a much needed basket. And I was gonna say, it's gotta be a take foul.
I'm rooting too hard for the Stingrays right now. That was a mean mugging of a foul, if you would. But, I mean, he got his clear lane. It looked like it could have been a clear path foul. But
could have been a clear path foul, but
he was too close to the rim.
Yeah, they're
I was
going to call a
try and go
foul.
up with it, but definitely some good defense.
I think Fuller tried to. It's just the ball just slipped out of his hands at the wrong time.
That slam from Lee was something else.
Oh, my goodness. We are seeing all kinds of acrobatic plays. We are in Game 3, folks. We still have a long way to go. It's 11:30 in the morning, and we still have plenty of basketball, but we have gotten our treat of highlight reels so far. 55-47 is the lead. The skill center, it has been all skill center in the second half.
It's so hard to cut the lead on skill center. Once they have a lead, they will always continue to try and extend it. They will play hard. They will play fast-paced, and just like that.
There's Mekhi White. We mentioned he was a prowess at the beginning of this half, sat down for a couple minutes. He's checked back in. He's got 3 steals in this half alone. So White has been the big defensive anchor going and going up. I don't know how Devontae Spears just finished that. That was I'm going to have to watch that on YouTube again later. That was a weird.
If I would have to think about what happened, he tried to go up with a one-hand slam, and he just laid it off the backboard and then slammed the ball, but he didn't have it.
It somehow fell in, but nonetheless, you'll take them how you can get them. It's a 10-point advantage, though, now the largest lead, once again, for the skill center. So it's a Mekhi White steal that leads to what was an odd Devontae Spears shot, but nonetheless, he's able to finish. And Mike, all of a sudden, it was a 2-point deficit at half for the skill center. It's a 10-point advantage, and it's been nothing but the skill center controlling this half.
We've seen skill center in the last tournament, and you and I both know they've won some games by 20-plus points. So there's a reason that it is a 10-point game, but that reasoning is basically when they get going, they will get going. So that's the thing. You got to try and keep the lead when you can get it, and the Stingrays going into half with a 2-point lead, they couldn't handle it, and the full court pressure, that switch up in this second half, it was crucial, and that was the game changer. So a little bit of just tiredness from the Stingrays. You could see that energy showing, and they've slowed down a lot here in the second half.
So now the curious case of the Stingrays at the moment, folks. What happens now? We saw a lot of pressure in the paint leading to open shots. That outlet has since been really covered by the skill center squad. And honestly, it's become a game of not turning the ball over. We've seen the skill center squad accumulate 8 turnovers and 7 steals here in the second half. So they are taking advantage of miscalculations by the Stingray squad. Can they clean it up? Can they find shots is the key right now. And you see that half-court pressure coming once again from the skill center. A little bit of pressure coming but finally getting it up. I think that was Hayden Fuller. Now you just need to articulate some stops and some makes back-to-back to find yourself right back into this game, though. 8 points, we've seen it. That's not even anywhere near an open advantage for either team. As Kinyard misses that one, Fuller's got the board. That was a big stop coming for the Stingrays. What will they do now on offense?
Yes.
You see the ref taking a little more than he could chew. Boy, we need some ice out here for the referees, too, just taking a little bit of contact, maybe more than you would have liked.
A lot of contact.
Oh, yeah.
And it was before the ball was jarred loose.
Under 5 minutes remain, it'll be a throw-in coming from Brayton Barnaby.
Love the trap, though, from the skill center. Very good defense.
Want to note, too, that foul was on Vernon Lee. That is the 5th, now 6th team foul coming for the skill center. Big offensive board coming from Judah Lopez. They'll work right back in the paint with him over a couple defenders, but nice defense there from White. Lee sending it down to Kinyard. Lee goes up. Ooh, blocked there by Judah. And the skill center get it back. It's an open Kinyard. Kicks it out. Vernon Lee for 3. Off the mark. Barnaby's got the board. The Stingrays just trying to corral it in and finally do with Bates. Maybe not. They lose it. Boy, everywhere's just the right place at the right time coming for the skill center. So I think everybody can breathe. That was an insane turn of events and nearly slamming it in. I think Devontae Spears wanted a little more.
As soon as you start to think you can breathe, Billy, you can't. That was almost a dunk and a highlight play.
And Devontae Spears saw heaven and decided to ascend just a little bit. But nonetheless, it's a good play on his end. Stays healthy through it, draws some contact, gets a foul, and he'll get to go to the line for the 2nd time today. Made his first 2 attempts earlier as he makes attempt number 3 on the day. And we're starting to see the crunch time and the antsiness come into play, too, for this Stingray squad because, folks, under 4 minutes remain now. And again, that lead starts to become bigger in the sense that there's not a lot of time to cut it down.
3:57, and it's about to be double digits once again.
The skill center have led predominantly in this second half. They took the lead at the 15-10 mark and have not looked back since, folks. So almost 12 minutes of a lead have come for the skill center squad, thanks to the man sitting down on the bench in Devontae Spears. He'll get a much-needed break. And now, no full court press, no half court press. The skill center laying back just a bit, Mike. This could be the advantage the Stingrays needed. They will work up top here in a 10-point deficit with Angelo Massey.
I mean, gotta find a bucket.
Still a 3-2 zone coming on the side of the skill center. Not a lot of movement, though, coming from the Stingrays. Unsure of what to do, trying to find an open outlet. That's Bates. And Bates, we've seen him do it a couple times.
Third 3, he's been money.
He's got another 3. He's got a nice high arcer, too. I like that.
Cut it to 7. I mean, that's what you got to do. And the 3-2 has been trying to exterminate the 3s.
And what is 7 points? A couple stops, a couple J's?
There you go, right there.
And you need another stop, and they got it, the Stingrays. Look on the bright side. They're coming right back. Down by 7, 3 minutes remain, and a chance to cut it.
It's playing for the Stingrays.
As much as 4, that could be the deficit depending on the outcome.
Pull up.
Massey working up top. They got a paint presence here. Judah Lopez, a rare sighting on the outside, might have been tapped on the...
He said so as well.
He was looking for some... He's smiling because he knows. He was looking for some contact. Makai White goes up. Makai White finishing past the duo of Lopez and Leon. We've seen a little bit of maybe breathing coming from the Stingray squad. They might be fatigued just a little bit from this presence of the skill center.
It's looked like that the past few minutes.
Here's Bates. A nice hesitation, but not before the block coming from Jayden Dryden.
Wow. He put his hands up in disgust. I mean, that was all ball right there.
It was all ball. I mean, you could hear the tap of the ball, and I was going to give credit to, for a moment, Ethan Bates had a nice hesitation, and then Dryden just shut that down in general as that ball rolls right out of play, and it should be with the skill center.
Everything is just going wrong for the Stingrays, and a little miscommunication, and 9-point game, it's so hard to cut back into a deficit. They've been kind of matching their double-digit lead, but it's so hard to eat back into these leads.
Well, it's like going to your favorite restaurant that you've been anticipating. Everything seems well, the appetizer's good, but all of a sudden you order your dinner. You get the wrong thing, it's undercooked, it takes forever to get out there. It's like everything happening at once right in front of your eyes for the Stingrays. Under 2 minutes remain, and again, if you want a run to cut into this lead, now is the time. And unfortunately, on the opposite end, we get to see an extension coming for the Skill Center. It's going to be Mosen Hemmings, who had a couple baskets in that first half, hasn't played much here in the second half, but a big opportunity here, because just as much as it is important to cut into a lead, it's important to extend one, and unfortunately he misses opportunity number 1, but will get a second chance. Lead has been as large as 10. He has a chance to do that for the 4th time in this contest. 4 points to his credit with a chance to make it 5. Again, it's him joined by Makai White, what looks to be Andreas Jackson, Jaden Dryden on the floor alongside Jamaris Conyers. That is your Skill Center lineup on the floor. Hemmings off the mark, much needed, and getting the rebound and the defensive possession was Judah Lopez. So now some offense coming on the other side for the Stingrays. Try not to kill too much clock as they roll it in here with Isaac Leon. Under 2 minutes remain, working up top. It's going to be a much-needed basket, folks. And instead, an ill-advised pass. Makai White working, trying to keep it alive. Going up is Jackson. Can't send it in. Here comes Bonyard. Ooh. Lopez keeps it alive. He'll look for the shot. Rejection. And as we've seen Jaden Dryden do, he rejects it. And it's slowly but surely, folks, it looks like the Skill Center are closing in on their first win in the what should be afternoon, not quite yet, so the morning. Approaching the 1 minute remaining mark here. Hemmings working up with Conyers. Conyers goes up, working with White. Looks to be off the head of Leon.
But they do say Stingray ball.
Yeah, it looks like it bounced off the back of his head, yeah. I mean, that's a much-needed break. If they make a 3, we have a ball game.
That is very true. It's still a minute. It's a lot of time.
Still a minute. If we have a 3, it is a ball game.
Make it, though.
They're looking for it. You can see Massey has not made a basket since the first half of the first half when he had 2 early threes.
Even a quick 2 free throws might do you justice. They're in the bonus.
That shot, again, with a chance, was coming from Ethan Bates. Jaden Dryden picks up the foul. 11 total fouls in this half, so double the amount of what we saw in half number 1. So again, a little more contact.
I would say foul immediately after this because you don't want to lose any time. Even if they make 2 free throws, you could hit the 3 and be down 6 still. So. And
you have plenty of fouls to give. Plenty of fouls to give before you get in the bonus in this case for that squad. And it looks like they're not going to. Going to play a little bit of a full court press.
Got to try and do something. Just playing with them.
It's Conyers and Leon, and they are just playing around. You can see him smiling. He is. As they try and go to the paint, so they don't need to make a stop because the stops are coming for them.
Listen, it might be a 9-point game, but anything can happen. We've seen that before. You don't want to play with your food.
It's going to become one of those moments too, Mike. I mean, if we see the Stingray team close, you're going to look back at a play like that.
Wow.
But it doesn't matter. That's another steal from Makai White. 5 steals in this half alone for Makai White on the day.
And smartly, he's going to just dribble out the clock, or at least try to. There you go.
It's smart of the Stingrays to know this one being over. No chance to waste time. Get it over with. Move on to the next game, and set your sights on.
Had a chance, but again, it would have been a long time, and they had to try it, but 9-point game. It was a tough one for the Stingrays, especially the second half.
So that will conclude game number 3. And the first 2 games were a bit of blowouts that we saw, but this game from start to finish was very competitive. We saw different players taking stride. It was Devontae Spears with his acrobatic finishes and his athleticism showing prowess. Then it was Vernon Lee out of nowhere just making back-to-back threes. Very athletic plays, even an emphatic jam that ultimately changed the game. And on the other end, it was Stingray control for the first half. but all of a sudden the skill center squad got it together, went through the motions, made the right plays, and Mike, I mean, they controlled this game. It felt like forever, but it was just in the second half alone.
That was the game changer. Stingrays were up 2 heading into the second half, and they tried to continue their style of basketball. They went inside to Lopez a couple times. Bates hit a couple threes, but in the end, Skill Center was just the all-around better team. They tightened up on their defense. They made a lot more of their shots in the second half. The first 2-3 minutes, they couldn't make a shot. And then all of a sudden, they settled in nicely. I think that could just be a little bit of the rust in terms of the early mornings, but they got into a groove as a team, and you could see why they are very good.
We're going to see 2 more teams with the Florida Raptors taking on a Jaguar squad here in just about 13 minutes time. But nonetheless, 61-52 was your final score, as we saw a Skill Center squad come back from an early 8-point deficit and take in control game number 1 of what is set to be many games for them in this afternoon's slate. Nonetheless, I'm Billy Adams alongside my co-host and analyst Mike Zanetti. We are here at the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus out in Pasco County, Florida on the Florida Athletics Network. Again, folks, this is the HoopSeen Florida Jam. We are showcasing all kinds of high school, middle school, and elementary talent for you to see, playing for what could be a state championship berth on May 10th and 11th. So much action, so much to play for, and so much talent to be seen. You don't want to miss it, folks. And in 13 minutes, game number 4 is set right here on the Florida Athletics Network.